Y'all both in the same dumpster. Oh, you her? She's trash. I can't believe her. You too. Y'all on the same dumpster.
Our relationship, because she had indicated that Gina and Diddy were very toxic, and he would sort of bring that home to her. And we also saw text messages where they got in a fight because he had gotten Gina a necklace and she posted it on social media publicly, and Diddy got upset at Jane about, or not upset, but he made her take down a food post that she had tagged him in earlier. So it was like, you know, she can't be public, but Gina can, as well as Young Miami. She just said she felt very disrespected when these women would publicly post. And again, she was doing these quote unquote hotel nights. Now, we saw a multitude of text messages with Jane setting up these hotel nights. And, you know, she pointed out many times that she felt like she had to do this to make her partner happy because she loved him. And there was one point where, you know, Tenny Garagos brought up the 3 men night.
Young Carter, don't be hating on the King Academics channel. Hey, the chat just trying to make sure I'm good. Like, yo, we family here. Y'all my doctor, my therapist, relationship coach, health expert, my liver expert. Y'all are everything for me. So no, nobody didn't pay me to tell me to drink some tea. They want to make sure the stream continues. We got to keep it going. One monkey don't stop a show. A little voice box don't stop nothing. We got to keep it going. I might have to like operate in sign language.
Sobriety night. And, you know, she just said, like, and she said this a bunch of times, like, you agreed to it, right? And Jane would answer, unfortunately, yes.
By the way, okay, oh my God. Skinny Day says, how could you say you and Dave talk trying to stop the BS but still instigating? Brother, me and his conversation ain't got nothing to do with this. I told both of them niggas, yo, y'all issues with Drake. I told Dave, I said, listen, if you feel like, nigga, y'all can't get to Drake and y'all want to get it, nigga, I came here prepared. It's what it is. I don't give a fuck. This whole thing, it's not me de-escalating nothing with these niggas. They have a beef with Drake. They don't got a beef with me. I told them. I showed up to your show because if I had a beef with you, I wouldn't show up to your show. So this whole thing, nigga, I don't give a fuck what y'all told about. I don't care if these grown-ass men solve their beef. I told you if somebody get clipped, I'm not going to feel sad. I'm sorry. They're calling each other pedophiles. They're saying that this nigga don't own his son or whatever. I don't give 2 fucks. I'm not taking no responsibility for grown man actions. So please don't act like I have any part in this. Dave Free need to go see about Drake about saying that he fathered somebody's kid. He need to see him. Don't see act. See him. And Drake need to go see Kendrick about the pedophile shit. That's a fact. Y'all niggas stop with the pussy shit. Niggas got clipped in this hip-hop shit for less. Stop trying to blame a media outlet. They started this shit. And they still in their feelings about it. Go handle your business. Don't come to the media. Go handle your business. I'm sorry. Go handle your business. I'm not taking no responsibility. When you call a nigga a pedophile, you know a nigga could get clipped for that. That's a fact. If you call a nigga a snitch, you could get clipped for that. Rest in peace, Nipsey. That's what happens.
And she answered unfortunately, yes, multiple times. And Tenny Garagos said, you know, you keep saying unfortunately, but you agreed, right? And she kept saying, I resent him for it. I resent him for it. And Tenny Garagos would say, okay, so you resent him for it, but you also regret it now. Kind of trying to point out that she regrets it now, looking back. So there was a lot of that.
Now, this is really interesting. And chat, please stop asking me about this Drake. Yo, I keep telling y'all, whatever that come with that shit, them niggas knew they were doing it from the get-go. One thing I'm going to let y'all know, I don't care if 4,000 niggas die tonight. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you why. Kendrick knows what he said about that nigga. You booked a show in Toronto, nigga. Drake know what was said about him. If niggas look at him like you weak as hell because nothing happened, that's on you too. Y'all niggas know what y'all did. Y'all grown. Y'all not finna blame this on media. I'm sorry. Put like this. If I said fuck the West Coast, this gang's bitches, and I go to LA and something happen, Y'all not gonna blame me to say, Ack, why did you go? You don't call this man all type of pedophiles and he called himself a sex god. If some shit happened, you basically walked into his spot. I'm not taking no blame for that. I wish nothing happens, but this is hip hop. It's a contact sport.
We also heard about her birthday in February of 2023. The defense pointed out a text message she sent Diddy asking.
And I agree, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing happen to Kendrick. But will there probably be a little scuffle or something? I don't know, maybe. It's hip hop, nigga. The fuck?
Him to put money in her account for her birthday, and it turns out he put about $15,000 in her account so she could go shopping, take her family and friends to dinner. And she said that she didn't have a good birthday. She, on top of all this, and Diddy buying her this birthday dinner for her family and friends, she didn't have a good time. She said that he kind of had her holed up at the Nobu Hotel in Miami after, and she said that he only wanted to eat at the Nobu Hotel because they didn't have to go out and he could kind of keep her there, so she wasn't really happy about that. So Tenny Garagos kind of showed us text messages of her saying, let's go to Carbone, let's go here, let's go there.
All right, I'm going to skip a little bit into this. Again, we got to get updated with the current tweets. There's some interesting shit happened this morning, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get to it.
Came out, and you were upset because you had also recently seen him in Vegas with another woman. And she said, yeah. And she said, you know, you were following this lawsuit pretty closely. And she said, yes, I was. And then there was an objection and a sidebar. And then we ended early because the government brought up that when Jane got on the stand, the defense had asked her if she got immunity from the government, and she said yes. And again, they asked her, you know, what does this mean? And she said, you know, I'm protected as long as I'm not lying. Sorry, hopefully you can hear me. And she said, you know, or Tenny asked, well, who determines if you're lying? And she says, the government. Now, the government said because of this, because they're kind of indicating that Jane could be fabricating testimony in order to please the government, they want to introduce some notes or journal entries that Jane had written after Cassie's lawsuit came out. They want to introduce these in redirect, and the judge said he would make a decision tomorrow, but the defense was kind of just like, I don't understand why you guys are doing this, because we're not saying that Jane is a co-conspirator. We're not indicating that. We're just, you know, this one has nothing to do with the other type of thing. Oh my gosh, sorry, there is a giant cockroach. Holy, can you?
New York City, man. Home of the roaches and rats. Yo, so this idea that they've been trying to introduce her notes for the longest. Okay? Now, remember, Diddy's team tried to block her notes before. Diddy's team tried to block her notes before by saying some of her notes was referring to things that were attorney-client privilege. What's that? When Diddy was summing up his apology, or he was writing it up, or he had a script for it, Mark Agnifilo was there when he did the video, Notorious video. I'm sorry for beating Cassie's ass up in that hotel, man. I'm so sorry, man. I'm ashamed. I got to do better. He wrote multiple versions of that apology. Apparently, there was a version that mentions Cassie by name. The lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, tells Diddy, take her name out of it. Jane Doe, Daphne Joy, has stuff in her notes saying, yeah, I don't like the fact that Diddy, he apologizing, but he won't say her name. They excluded some of her notes based on, well, she's referring to something that would be attorney-client privilege. But the government's trying to have a second go at it. They're like, no, we don't care about the apology stuff, but there's other things in her notes. Other things in her notes that kind of show that she's not only lying because the government has her in an immunity deal, she's felt this way all along. So we're going to see what that is.
You see that? I don't even know if I'm showing that. Oh my gosh, love New York. Sorry, that's disgusting. So, yeah, the judge will rule on this tomorrow if these can come into play with the redirect. So we'll see. But yeah, overall, there was no big bombshells today. Again, it was just really going back and forth with Jane about her being agreeable, complicit with the escorts, even though Jane would make sure to add a lot of context about why she did this and why she said yes. And at one point, she had said, you know, I would be agreeable because it was that, or I would deal with, the word was, like he'd be agitated. And so Tenny made sure to say that multiple times. So it would either be with an escort or deal with his agitation, kind of hinting like, okay, so agitation is not that bad. But oh, and sorry, one more thing. We heard about a threat that Jane gave Diddy when he was off with Young Miami on an island, and Jane had planned this Valentine's Day for him, or she was planning it, and because Young Miami and Gina, their birthdays are around the same time, so Diddy kind of had to do both their birthdays.
Yo, you're what Future say. Valentine's the worst day. That's the worst day.
Big.
Got too many bitches to please.
And basically, Jane had sent Diddy a text saying, you better get your ass home off that island or no Valentine's Day, which she had set up with like 2 entertainers. And Jane said, yes, that was really the only time that I used the hotel card as a threat. So.
Oh, so she was saying, I ain't gonna fuck these guys in front of you if you don't get off that island now. Okay. All right, let's get into today's stuff. We're going to start with Matthew Russell, then we'll get into the tweets. Here we go.
Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Thursday, June 12th. It's going to be day 22 of U.S. versus Sean Combs. Now, we're back on the beat. Still, you know, Jane is still Jane. The anonymous order is in, and I have no problem with that. I just have a problem with if things are said in open court or shown on the screen, they become public. This remains a principle, and yes, that's how we're doing it. But Jane will be finished today. In fact, Jane's cross should finish this morning. Tenny Garagos, I'll say this. I may have said on this very platform that I thought Nicole Westmoreland, and I just mean this strategically. I'm not going to, at least here, get into the substance of what's going to happen on the verdict or what should happen. But Nicole Westmoreland, who's quite an aggressive cross-examiner, who had a Perry Mason moment with Bongalan, I thought maybe she should be doing the cross of Jane. But in fact, Tenny Garagos, with a kind of
I'm eating fruit, chat. It's grapes. Pause. Chat. Didn't I tell you, though? Nicole Westmoreland, she's been the most effective. I got her number 1.
a circular strategy. It keeps changing time, going back to text messages. What about this one about Nobu? What about this one about Poppy's steaks? What about this one about the handbag? And ultimately, I think that she's created an impression. She's sort of undermined, rightfully or wrongfully, this idea of coercion and sex trafficking. I mean, there is a violent incident. Again, it's not for me to say, except to say that the method has been, I stand corrected. I stand corrected, I think. And I think you could tell that because yesterday Jane's answers became kind of more combative. It's like I wouldn't know if that's a good restaurant. Like, I think she realized how this questioning was having her come off, which might not be who she is as a person. Who knows? All the juries will know is what they saw in these many days of Jane. And today will be the last day. So we'll see both how Tenny closes it out, how Jane closes it out, and how Maureen Comey on redirect closes it out. But it will be done, and she will fly off.
Yeah, you see Lauren on Nancy Grace? That's dope.
Away from this trial. And this trial, the government's case at least, is almost over. There may be 3 other witnesses today, one of whom is just a summary witness, Miss Sankar. How long she'll be on, we don't know. But the main figure is that the government says that they're going to close either next Wednesday or Friday. Now, why the 2 days? Because Thursday is Juneteenth. So after that, there'll be a defense case. Nobody knows. They've implied it's going to be very long. Some people have been asking somehow if Christina Koram would be on the defense side. I can't see it. That cross would be devastating. But
Christina Koram is the Ghislaine Maxwell. You rather her not be involved at this point if she's not testifying for the government. And clearly she hasn't flipped. I keep telling you, Gina is a down bitch. And by the way, if Diddy comes out of this, he got to give Gina a baby. Gina been waiting for a baby. Young Miami said it. You got to give her a baby. She deserves a baby. You beat the case. She deserves a baby. Maybe twins. You got to do it. Christina Karam, she deserves a raise. Running Combs Enterprise at this point. Well, I mean, she was chief of staff. You got to give her an extra raise, okay? Give her a little ownership of the company. Those two women are the only two chicks that ain't flip on Diddy. Every other chick, Diddy was punching hard cock inside Jane Doe, giving her $10,000 a month, this, that, and the third, flipped on him. Cassie, we knew Cassie been flipped. We did find out yesterday. You know what I think Diddy realized? But I really think this is where kids come in. Kids and family. You know, you got a little old joint and you feel like, maybe you could fall back, you could get back with her. When they got kids, it's over. That's just over. So Diddy was still writing letters to Cassie, but Cassie already had a family now. So it was ineffective. Cassie got a family. Like, what do you think Cassie's going to leave her husband and kids to come back to Freakoffs? Now, if Cassie was just out there fucking with the B-list rapper, this guy, this NFL player, you could tell Diddy missed her. Because Diddy probably was just like, man, these bitches are soft. Cassie was taking 8-9 cocks in a night. Y'all hoes just complain about 2-3. So you could tell Diddy was missing Cassie a little bit. He was missing her. You know? With Cassie, felt like more love. You could tell Jane Doe was mad transactional. After a good night of baby oil, Astroglide, and male entertainers, immediately, Jane Doe, a.k.a. Daphne, would be like, you gonna drop something in my account? Almost like she felt like she was getting paid. She just want to get paid for the fucking. Diddy loved when these women just loved him. Only Cassie gave that. Cassie was down to do anything. Cassie was a real one. This chick, he could tell, bitch need a Van Cleef. Bitch need this. Bitch need that. Like, what the fuck? He already paid. Like, it's like she's, I hate to use 50's term, but she a little sex worker. With Cassie just wanted to please him and wanted him to love her. Now, this girl claims she wanted Diddy to love her, but she was mad transactional. Drop something in my account. I just fucked 3 niggas last night. Drop something in my account. Oh, okay. Make sure you keep paying this and paying that. It was you could hear the transactionality in it. Not Cassie. So Diddy at some point started writing to Cassie. But I think what was probably happening, even though Cassie probably still loves him, and by the way, she admitted that she still has love for the times they spent. Cassie moved on to another place in her life. Cassie was a new mom. I think she had 2 kids at this time. And Cassie was married. Freakoff days was a long time ago for Cassie. So I think that's what fucked it up, because I think Diddy wanted to go back to Cassie.
We'll just have to see. So we're coming to a close, and we're covering it quite closely on Inner City Press, and we'll have the Week 5 book out, hopefully on Friday.
That's a pineapple.
As we've done in previous weeks. So there's that. Now, what happened yesterday, Bob Menendez, if you remember him, the former longtime senator of New Jersey.
Okay. Back in. So, here we go. Before the jury was brought in today, they said the messages that are at issue today for the defense said, can't you redact these messages y'all want to get in? Tenney says, we shouldn't have it. It's consistent. We shouldn't have to, have them redacted. It's consistent with our theory. Hold on, give me a second. Make sure I can see it. It's consistent with our theory, and they opened the door. The judge says they didn't open the door. Wow, okay. Comey, AUSA, says, on direct, we elicited testimony about the end of the relationship in 2024. There were no texts, but oral communications. This is a self-serving voice note by the defendant. It should not come in. By December 2023, he was trying to make a record for litigation. So here's the thing. They're saying that Diddy, after he got sued and he paid out to Cassie, and now there was rumors and mumblings that there's a grand jury and a possible federal indictment coming, Diddy started crossing his T's, dotting his I's. All the bitches he's fucking, he will hit them up and be like, hey, just that we clear, you love doing this shit, right? And it was more of trying to cover his ass more than actual genuine relationships or genuine conversations. So the government is saying, we don't want those conversations to be brought in because that's after Cassie filed her case, and the way he was moving was not a natural movement. That was someone who knew his goose was being cooked. Anyway. Here we go. Judge says, what about Ms. Garrigo's questioning Jane about this without introducing a voice note? Comey says, that might confuse the jury too. The defendant was trying to feed Jane a narrative throughout their relationship. The hearsay rule precludes this. So they're saying they don't want anything that Diddy was saying to this woman after he got the civil suit. And then the federal government started an indictment or a grand jury against him. They don't want those things to be admitted because it's like someone knowing they're under investigation and they start making it overtly clear. Yo, so by the way, you've never seen me touch drugs, right? You ain't never seen me with a gun, right? And they elicit statements from people that could be co-conspirators, but it's only because they want later, if they get charged, to say, but look, these people said I never did it. So they're trying to get that out. Comey says if the defendant wants to take the stand, ooh, that's Diddy, and subject himself to cross-examination, fine. The judge says the questions without the voice note would not be for the truth. Comey says, but it would be a backdoor way to get this in. The judge says, I agree with the government on those portions of the voice notes. And the voice notes will not be included. They'll be excluded. Some questions will be permitted. And if you feel there's a basis for introduction, you can call a sidebar. Now, the U.S. wants more of Jane's notes. Remember, she was one of them girls. She was writing her notes all the time. That's her diary. The judge says, because they were going to make a ruling today, once there's a motive to fabricate, the statements can't come in as prior consistent statements. The pattern or the fact pattern does not appear to have been previously arisen. 2 time periods. The defense argues it would be improper. They post-date the lawsuit. Comey says, I know we're delayed in bringing the jury in, so I don't want to push about getting this in, but the judge says, now you can go ahead, push, pause. It's just that the government already put a lot of this messages already in. Comey says, well, we want in her, I felt obligated 98% of the time. The judge says, I'm going to reserve, okay? We could bring in Jane. Comey says, Your Honor, we made an application through your deputy. Judge says, I think it's reflected on this Post-it note. It says, isn't this, okay. Got a little fruit bowl over here, Chad. I'm cooling. I can see a fruit fly in front of me. I hate fruits. Fuck. Jack. So good. So now they're talking about, these publications. All right. Now, 10 o'clock, which is about 2 hours ago. They're still in the Robin room. Combs has been taken back in the back to the holding cell by the marshals. Look like they might be having a bathroom break. And it says, like, what would Jane Doe's counsel be getting ready to play? So it looked like what happens is Daphne Joy's lawyer says, Judge, before you bring in Daphne, can we holler at you? Not in front of the court. Could we go to your chambers? Now, remember, it will be an ex parte meeting because she's already on the stand. Unless all 3 parties are there. So there's someone from Diddy's counsel, probably Mark Ignifilo and Tenny because she's doing a cross. There's going to be a court reporter. There's going to be a sheriff. Diddy does not have to be there, but he could. But apparently he's not. He's in a holding cell. There's going to be Jane Doe, Daphne, and there's going to be Daphne's lawyer who's being paid for by Puff. Now keep in mind, if niggas like, if you're going through a divorce, you got to pay for your wife's divorce attorney. The attorney ain't working for the nigga who paid for her. they're working for the client that they're sworn to have their attorney-client privilege with, right? So even though Diddy's paying for the lawyer not working for Diddy. They're working for her. So they go in the back, and it's delaying court. Holy. 10:05. Counselors back from the robing room. Now Ignifilo, Shapiro, and Steele, they huddle with Combs. They're talking with them. So look like they're saying, bruv, this is what happened in the back. This is what happened in the back. We met with Jane, her lawyer, prosecutors, judge. This is what's popping. Now, the mere fact this is not done in open court has to be a matter of privacy, secrecy, and we all know she's going by the moniker Jane Doe. Chat, your wish is my command. I got the tea. Pause. The Academy mug with the tea. I'm going to save the voice today, chat. We good. WT, chat. WT. There we go. So, I'm already feeling, my throat feel a little bit better. Pause. Okay. So they're huddled around Combs. They're talking to him. Xavier Donaldson goes from the middle to the back table to talk with Combs. Ignifilo's in the front. He's talking with a Comey. Jane still ain't pop out. It's pretty hot. It's a little warm tea. It's good. Good for the vocal cords. Chat, this is going to be the difference between us doing a 3-hour stream and a 6-hour stream. We're here. Locked in. Unless y'all want me to go to Canada. Should I go to Canada? We can go to Canada. If I go to Canada, I got to cut the stream now. Anyway. Here we go. Combs is speaking one-on-one with Nicole as Driscoll and Xavier are standing between the tables. So it's kind of like this is the moment. Don't know what's going on. The press don't know. Gallery doesn't know. And none of this is on the record. It started before 10 a.m. It's more than half an hour now. It's a moment ago, Combs started smiling, even laughing. Oh, Diddy's laughing. Hey, shout out to my boy. Anybody know the Big AJ? Shout out to the Big AJ. You know, one of our longtime chat niggas. Y'all know him as a personality too. I did a stream when I was like, man, holy. Is that blueberries? Oh, shit. Look. I did a stream. When I did a stream, I said, Christian Combs, Justin Combs, y'all still paying the bills of this woman that's trying to sink your father. Cut it off immediately. Big AJ talked to me later after the stream. He said, I heard the stream. Let's play this out. You think it would be smart for them to cut it off today? I thought about it. I said, they probably got to wait. Here's the thing. No, it looks funny if you cut off your support for her because she's a government witness, but it also, will probably piss her off even more. Keep in mind, this was a woman that was sucking multiple cocks a night as long as you paid her rent. So, even if she's flipping on you, you can't cut off that support till she's off that stand. Gotta leave it there. So, it looks like something happened. Diddy's smiling. He's laughing. He puts his hand in his head. He said, what was on that Post-it note? When it'll be docketed? 10:40. 10:40, chat, an hour ago. Judge says, Ms. Garagos, you ready to proceed? Ignifilo says, he had this discussion in the back. Mr. Combs was not present. I would like to lodge this objection. We litigated over pseudonyms. The judge says, let's take a step back. Judge says, I could clear the courtroom if we need to. Ignifilo says, no need. I will conform my comments to an open court, which means I'm not going to say certain things that could make it privy. There's some mango right here, chat. Anybody like mango? Mango right here. We used to have a mango tree in Jamaica. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm going to limit my comments that it could be still on the open record in open court. Is there a reason trial and names are public? It's so people who were there could come forward. We objected already to a pseudonym like Mia, because ain't nobody named Mia. That's Sarah Schnecker. Fuck. Now this. The events in the hotel room on January 24th, 2024. I appreciate the balancing, but we maintain constitutional right to a fully public trial. That still remains. We ain't consent to these events not being fully public. So Diddy's saying, I don't care if y'all even show the sex tapes. Fuck it. It's all public. Let me sip some tea here. Niflo says, he continues, he says, part of the public nature of the trial is for the information to reach the public so other witnesses could come forward. I wanted my client to hear this. The judge says, well, Ms. Comey, that's Maureen Comey, daughter of former FBI director James Comey. She's the lead prosecutor. Comey says, as long as your answer remains no, we're fine. Now we don't know what you're talking about. Comey says the argument to say the name is an attempt to harass. Now, what this could mean, remember I'm going off tweets, but I'm trying to put two and two together. Y'all smart, I'm smart. We smartest. We the smartest group. This could be the name 50, which obviously if you name 50, we know who his baby mama is. That's one son that's younger that gets $47,000 or $4,700 a month. So we know who Jane Doe is. It appears that they're arguing over this idea that she's a pseudonym. Because they're saying it's impossible for us to have a defense to what she's saying because she acting like nobody know her, but the people who we could bring to say she's fucking lying, that will, the AUSA is objecting to because that would clearly dox her. It'll clearly dox her. But here's the difference between her and Mia, which they also objected to. Mia did claim she was a victim, but Mia ain't a main victim. This one right here, I think the government is saying, we're going to expose her like Banna. Not government, I mean Diddy's team, his defense team. So they're going to have some witnesses like, yo, wasn't she your best friend? All right, come to the stand and bring her best friend up there and expose her that she's a whore. She's a prostitute. She just fucks for money. She's done this before. By the way, keep in mind, somebody brought this up. This is relevant. Peter Nygaard, Daphne Joy. Everybody knows this is Peter Nygaard is someone, let's just Google him. He owns some Jeffrey Epstein shit. He's a disgraced Canadian businessman and former fashion executive that supposedly would have harems of women doing their bidding. Apparently, he was linked to Daphne Joy. Now, that dude was found guilty. He was found guilty. But the relevant part that might be used, and I'm not making this up, but I'm trying to think out loud about why we don't know the full details yet. Maybe they want to introduce that. But if you introduce that, it also doxes Jane Doe. So it looks like Diddy's team is trying to say, if we're going to put up a defense against Jane Doe, which we got a defense, we got to bring people up that she's dealt with before, maybe in a prostitute sense or an escort sense. Just to say, well, if you claim Diddy did this to you and was sex trafficking you, what about this guy? You didn't say he was sex trafficking you. What's up with that? Right? That might be. Not saying it is, might be. Let's keep it going. The judge says in this event in the hotel is not one of the alleged acts of sex trafficking. It's just collateral. It's not a real concern. Comey says, the identity of those there isn't a defense. Okay, so we kind of get what it is. Diddy is now ready to play dirty. He's now down to play dirty, chat. Diddy want to drop names. 6ix9ine must have taught him. He know he was locked up with 6ix9ine. Come on, you ain't gonna act like I'm the only freak in this shit. Come on. Ja Rule, you know your name is in this. Come on, boy. Meek, you know. No, I'm playing. I'm not saying those are in there. But they're arguing about the identity of other people that I would imagine the government saying you can't name those people because they, and again, it might be 50. They directly link to Jane Doe, which violates the fact that she's a hidden witness. So cool. Pineapple. Anybody fuck with pineapple? Yeah. Love some pineapple, bro. Okay. Chat. W me. I'm substituting Chick-fil-A for pineapples, strawberries, grapes, blueberries. We're doing a fruit diet today. Fruit diet. Okay. Okay, so they're waiting for Jane. This issue of identifying a cooperating witness, bringing forth rebuttal testimony from those who learn about it through the press. It came up before. Oh, wow. Okay. So, just to further explain, there's a thinly veiled attempt of saying we haven't gone for our defense yet. And part of our strategy is to elicit other witnesses that could corroborate or dispute what the government witness is saying. So we might, if we're going to talk about an event, it might be a party. We might have to say it was a Jamie Foxx party. It was a, I don't know, whoever party, but we got to say that person's name that happened then, that maybe someone's like, oh, I was there. I seen that shit. Nah. That, it ain't happened like how she said. So that's what they're kind of going at, all right? Judge, 56 minutes ago. So they spent most of the morning arguing about this. All rise. He said, jurors, I apologize. It took long. We did things to save you some time. Jane, you're still under oath. Proceed. Tenny says, good morning. Let's look at your message where you said, I feel as your lover, I wanted to please you. I pushed through. Garagos continues, because she's showing her a message. What did you really, so what you really wanted was just to cuddle with Mr. Combs, right? Jane says, nah, I just wanted my intimate time. Garagos says, tell me about the mobile TV you got him. Jane says it was an LG, cordless, that he could move it around. Garagos says, so it was a TV he could see y'all movies on, right? She said, yeah. Garagos says, after the Cassie lawsuit went public, how were things? Jane says, I came to find out that another woman had the same experiences I had. I put out that energy on him and he was already down. So it was resentment. Everything was hard. It was a hard month? She says, yes. Let's play this voice note. Diddy says, I don't want to be in a relationship like this. I don't want to make anyone feel like this. Let's end this cycle so you don't feel like I wasted your life. Now, remember, they were just arguing about this before the jurors came in. They don't want to put anything past December because they felt Diddy was, cognizant, aware of what's going to happen, and he's now giving very clear options. Hey, I don't want to do nothing that make you feel like you ain't with it. You could go, stop fucking with me, blah, blah, blah. Now, we don't know what time this is, but Diddy's telling her, hey, if you feel unhappy, I don't want to be in a relationship like that. If you feel like you're, chicks tell you some dumb shit. Oh, yeah, no, I've been feeling this, I've been feeling that. All right, hold on. If I make you feel like that, leave. Hit the door. Let's end it. Garrigo says, are there any more messages of Diddy telling you, let's end this shit? She says, yes. Garrigo says, did Sean often say to you, I don't do problems. I'm a solutions person. Let's get to the solutions. She says, yes. Garrigo says, you wrote, I tolerated, and I took a lot. Boy, did she take a lot of semen. In those rooms, please don't discredit me. What did he write? Did he write, I've never discredited you? She says, yeah. Garrigo says, you wrote you wanted $100,000. Bumbleclot. For each wasted time, I guess. And then you wanted more. You wanted $450,000. Chat, this bitch was extorting him. She knew, because she was in his inner circle at the time, Diddy is under. Diddy. Somebody said, mom's update, she been on any trips? My mom just got eye surgery. She recovered. I'm about to bring her on a trip. She got to come with me. Got to keep mom close. I don't know if you're talking about my mom. You got to be talking about mom. Yeah. Mama Akademiks is good, okay? Love her, with my last. Okay. Don't bring my mama when we talking about this bullshit. Come on, dog. Wait till the intermission. Okay. So it looks like she starts hitting Diddy because she know Diddy's getting squeezed. Also, here's the thing, too. Didn't I tell y'all, Young Miami fucked up the whole shit. By the way, Fruit Jams. Fruit Jams. I see you, my boy. My boy Fruit Jams, he been holding it down. I can't even lie to you. Let me see if I can find a clip. Chat, I need y'all to support this page. Grand's already on board with him. Y'all support my nigga. I said this a while ago. I told y'all. Somebody sent this to me today. And they said, Ak, you predicted this a while ago. And now everybody's realizing this came true. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find it. Give me a second. I'm going to find it. I know 50 posted. We're going to get to it. I know 50 posted. Let me just figure out what date this was. Hold on. It's about this time. Hold on. This is before all the testimony that Jane gave. That's before all the testimony that Jane gave. Y'all tell me if I predicted this. I sounded crazy when some of y'all was like, oh no, you just beefing with Young Miami. No, nigga. We got to learn how to. Is this about a week ago? No. Oh, I went too far. Pause. Went too far. Here we go. Shout out to Fruit Jams, though. Where we at with it? The 25th? No. It's not that far down. Right here. Listen to this, chat. This is before Daphne Joy said any of this shit. Didn't I call it? Diddy introduced Cassie and them to drugs. A chick like Carisha, she'd been off that too. Wait, hold on. No, that's not the one. No, this is right here.
Young Miami. First of all, I'm not blaming nobody for Diddy's actions. If he's guilty of these things, he's guilty of these things. But I just want to say, I think you dealing with Diddy was the ultimate whistleblower. You fucked up his whole shit. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it could be a good thing if he's guilty. When Diddy started dealing with you, because you a chick that it looked like you one of them feisty chicks, and Diddy couldn't handle you like he handled Cassie, Gina, Kim Porter, the rest of them. The other women who've been through it, they took note and they felt away. They saw you back talk. They saw you do all the things that Diddy used to slap them square in the mouth for.
I'm lying?
They saw all the things that what Diddy used to punish them for, you did, and he didn't bat an eye. They didn't like that shit. Then they seen him have a kid with another woman. And it emboldened them to not only file lawsuits, but it emboldened them to speak to the police. So to keep it real, if y'all wondering why Diddy in jail, y'all could thank Carisha. I don't know if she thinks about it like this, but she's the ultimate whistleblower. She's the one that showed people that Diddy only treat whoever he feels he could treat like that. Because when he get a...
Didn't I tell you? Diddy fucked up his whole situation by trying to get a city girl. You know what? Yo, your archetype build in 2K is a chick that look like she like Asian. She don't got too much of a fat ass, but she's an eater. That's your build. Why you go try to chase a city girl who talk back, who ratchet, who like she'll say some shit to get in your feelings, and she don't give a fuck about going on Instagram to embarrass you and her. That's how Diddy fucked it up. I told y'all this, chat. Told y'all.
The bitch who ain't going for it. Like Carisha wasn't going. Like you could tell he couldn't give her no fucking black eye. Your Fruit Jams in the chat. What up? Yo, Young Miami.
Told y'all. So now we're seeing it manifesting. When there's blood in the water, the sharks come. Jane Doe pops up. And at first she's like, nah, she's comforting him. She was there. Sometimes your biggest op be in your bed. One in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes your biggest op you laying with. It's crazy. Nah, it's crazy. She was there when Cassie filed, not when Cassie filed a lawsuit, when the video came out of the beating. She's peeping game. She read the Cassie lawsuit. She said she threw up. She felt sick to her stomach. She still ain't leave. She turned to the biggest op. You know what she did? Wait. He paid this bitch out $30 million? The number that everyone would say was $30 million. You know what she did over time? All right, I'm tapping his pockets. I'm tapping his pockets because I could see what that bitch was dealing with. If she got 30, I shouldn't even have to sue. He should want to throw me the back. Remember, she went from being a $10,000 a month bitch. Now she's asking for hundreds of thousands. She's asking for hundreds of thousands, chat. She texts him, I need 100 bands for each wasted, whatever. I don't know what that means. And then I need more than 450,000. He said, you wrote that, right? She said, yeah. Garrigo says, and you say you were thinking of hurting yourself. And he said, he said, don't, because he cared, right? She said, I don't know about if he cared. I don't know if he cared. Garrigo says, you said you ain't had no friends at the time. Objection. Garrigo says, I can rephrase. You said you talked about your feelings with Sean because you didn't have other people. Jane says, yeah. Garrigo says, was Sean still paying your rent? Jane says, yes. Garrigo says, but what about that $9,000 from Bear? You had another nigga. Bear. Bear's a pseudonym, by the way. You claim you had known him for your modeling days. Remember the link to Peter Nygaard? She was a model. Peter Nygaard abused many models. She said yes. Garrigo says, did you ever have to do no work for that $9,000 you got? She said no. Tricks. It's tricks. I blame Lil Baby and Gunna for introducing tricking to hip-hop. I ain't gonna lie to you. They've made it so cool to trick, and the idea of tricking, I'll get you the biggest Chanel in the store if you want. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga? We're not doing that. Not me. Fuck. I'm gonna buy you some titties. What? For other niggas, hell nah. But Lil Baby and Gunna, the two biggest tricks in hip-hop ever. I blame them niggas for making tricking so popular. Houston been tricking, It's tricks, pimps, and hoes over there. Memphis too. But for it to be worldwide, I blame Gunna and Lil Baby. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay. They said the rapper you mentioned, he was close with 50. No, not 50. Oh, shit. Freudian slip. The rapper you mentioned, he was close to Mr. Combs. She said yes. They play a video. They said this rapper, they will record together, right? And he's also an icon in the music industry, right? She said yes. But you went to the birthday party with the rapper wife or his girlfriend. Did you know that sex worker traveled with them? She said yes. Garrigo says, and Mr. Combs knew too, right? Yes. Garrigo says, when Anton was long dicking that woman, how many people are in the room? 7 or 8. Chat, I've been telling y'all this. There's another part of the industry where these freakazoid niggas just watch sex like it's performative art. Let's drink some mimosas. Let's drink some whatever and watch these two fuck all night. This is what this trial is telling me. I didn't know shit like this exists. 7 people just watching somebody fuck. That's crazy. Just sip your espresso martini while she's fucking getting throated. We don't know what rapper it is yet. Garrigo says, did you flash your breasts to the room? And who asked you to? She said, yes, I did. It was a moment. Chat, this is a underground freak-off, freakazoid party that, I'm going to be honest with you, y'all claim I'm in the industry. I never knew this existed. Vlad, this is where you come in. You got to ask every rapper, have you been to some shit like this? 8 people in the room watching 2 people fuck and people flashing? What's going on?
So the Diddy and Cassie situation is getting freakier and freakier by the day. The more and more I hear about these allegations, Diddy is a freaky man, the king of the freak-offs. And Cassie, you feel me? She was young, vulnerable. But like what Ak said, she could have left. Like, Diddy was not holding her. Well, you know, this is what's hard for me. Allegedly, Diddy wasn't holding her hostage, but she said on the video that came out in the hotel where he hit her over and drug her back, she was trying to leave one of the freak-offs. And Diddy said, oh no, you're not going to leave the freak-offs. You got it. Yeah. Wait till the dude, bust a nut, allegedly. Then all over you, then scrape it off, go in the other room and rub it on my nipples. That's what he wanted. It sounds so crazy to say, but that's what Diddy wanted. Like, we seen him in the robe. I thought he was just fresh out the shower, but allegedly he was probably butt naked. I'm surprised there was no baby oil on her or him, or she wiped it off. That's why he was so mad. It was no baby oil on. Hey, man. I genuinely feel bad for Cassie. I feel bad for her husband too, because he has to be in court and he's listening to all these things. And I don't really think Cassie's lying about anything. Like, Cassie just seems like a nice girl, probably like gentle, innocent, like, and she just wanted a career. Like, man, I'm struggling here because I want to be very, very honest about everything, like my point of view. I don't think Diddy was the best of best people, and I think everything he did to Cassie was wrong, and it was definitely manipulative and all that stuff. But like, is it sex trafficking though? Like, this is what he's charged for. Like, domestic violence, yes. Assault, yes. Like, probably a bunch of other crazy stuff, yes. But sex trafficking, bro, I don't know if you could say he was sex trafficking. But it's only day 2 of the trial. And I'm going to be very, very unbiased about every single thing I say. It's day 2 of the trial. Diddy is, he's there every day. They say that he's looking white as hell. He's gray as hell. He's, you feel me? They said he was looking at Cassie the whole time. But day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe 2 weeks later, there might be someone else taking the stand, and we don't know how that's going to go. Maybe like 3 days later, there's going to be a new person taking the stand, and they just expose everything about Diddy. Like, we don't know fully everything Diddy's done yet. Like, there might have been men that he was having freak-offs with. Like, Ain't gonna lie, bro. Like Act was the line about what he said. Diddy should just came out and said that he was a flexible, bro. He should just said he was bisexual, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And what Act said, bro, all these rappers gotta come out who was around Diddy, like really, really hung around Diddy and was like really cool with him. They need to come out and like, yeah, bro. You gotta defend yourself, your integrity. You feel me? But your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And do you feel like Diddy's innocent, or do you feel like he's guilty? And we're talking about sex trafficking. Like, we're not talking about is he a good person or not. Do you think he's guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie? It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.